One night, as Amotsi was on his fishing boat alone, trying to see if his luck would change, at the top of the bridge he saw a car pull over and a man whose face he couldn't see, came out of the car and threw something into the river and drove away in a hurry. Amotsi didn't take note of what it was, till after a while the water started glowing with blue light. He looked in amazement, and he decided to dive into the water to see what it was. As he dived into the water, to his surprise, it was a newly born baby girl, wrapped in baby clothes. The baby's eyes and forehead were glowing very bright. Amotsi quickly rushed and took the baby out of the water into his boat. As he got into the boat, the baby's eyes became normal and the baby slept off as Amotsi was holding her. Once upon a time, in a small village in Africa, there lived a fisherman named Amotsi, from a Kuna village. Amotsi is a professional fisherman and he does the business with his wife Ejoku. Amotsi will catch the fish and his wife will sell them at the marketplace. Things were going well for them, their business was booming, and most of the village patronized them, because Amotsi catches big fishes and his wife, Ejoku, sells them at a very good price. But suddenly, things went bad. The fishing business became slow, to the extent Amotsi could hardly catch a single fish in months. This happened for a while till Amotsi and his wife became broke. It was like all the fishes in the river had a meeting and stopped coming his way. Aside that, Amotsi and his wife had been married for over 10 years, but they have no children. The villagers who once loved and patronized Amotsi and his wife started mocking Amotsi, saying that Amotsi's fishing business has become barren like his wife Ejoku. Their mockery got to Ejoku, Amotsi's wife, till she fell sick, and her sickness could not be explained, because no medication was able to help her recover. Everything was working against Amotsi. Out of frustration, Amotsi decided to stop fishing during the day, to avoid other fishermen laughing at him, and started fishing at night, when it was a bit peaceful and quiet. That was how Amotsi witnessed the child being thrown into the river that night. As he rescued the child, he took the child and rushed home to his wife Ejoku, who was lying down sick. He only told her that the baby was thrown into the river, but he never mentioned to her about the baby's eyes glowing. As Ejoku saw the baby, her heart lit up with joy. She got so excited she forgot she was sick. It was like the presence of the child healed her immediately. Ejoku took the baby and started caring for her. As she took off the baby's wet cloth to change her into something warm, they noticed the birthmark on the child's forehead. The mark looked strange. Amotsi said, "We cannot let people see this mark. We have to always cover it. Maybe as the child is growing, the mark will disappear." Ejoku agreed immediately and started caring for the child. Earlier that same night, Amotsi found the child in another village, not too far from Ekuna village, where Amotsi the fisherman lives. A woman delivered a baby in the hospital. She is the wife of Prince Abe, who happens to be the second son of the late King Eo of Uho village, who died over a year ago, and whose throne has been vacant till the selection of a new king. Late King Eo had two sons, Prince Deji, who is the first son, and Prince Abe, the second son. The usual tradition of the people of Uho village is that the first son will rule the kingdom after his father, but the oracle of the land changed the rules when the king became sick and about to die. Uho village has been going through so much poverty. Their crops have not been doing well, and their rivers were drying up. A prophecy was given by the gods that any of the prince whose wife gives birth to the child with the golden mark will be the next king of Uho village. This child is to bless the people of Uho village and will bring a turnaround to the growth and development of the village. Prince Deji, who feels betrayed because it was originally his right to become king, is a very wicked man who tramples on the people of Uho village until the gods gave their prophecy and he became scared he might lose the throne to his brother, Prince Abe. Since the prophecy was given, Prince Deji has been doing all he can to make sure he becomes king and occupy his father's empty throne. The prophecy states that until the child is born and identified, the people of Wuho village will have no king. The elders of the village will make decisions, where it's needed, till the child with the golden mark is born and identified. Prince Abe is a kind-hearted man. The villagers loved him. According to him, he has asked that they crown his brother king, but the oracle of the village said, until the child is born before the next king will emerge. Prince Deji, who was desperate to become king, gave birth to the first child, but he didn't carry the mark. His wife fell pregnant the second time, 7 months after their first child, and he, Prince Deji, was sure that the second child will come with the mark, as he waited patiently for his wife to be due for delivery. His younger brother, Prince Abe's wife, Abimbo, was also pregnant, but her delivery date was very close. The whole villagers prayed that she gives birth to the chosen child. On her night of delivery, Prince Abi waited patiently at the hospital for the result of the child. As Abimbo delivered, the child was a baby girl. Abimbo was too weak to hold her baby. But Prince Deji, who has bribed the midwife and the doctor, arranged that, if the child carries the golden mark, he or she must be killed and replaced with another baby girl, which they did. As the midwife brought the child to Prince Abi, he realized there was no mark on the girl's forehead, but he was happy all the same that he is finally a father. That night, the doctor handed the child to Prince Deji's hitmen, who took the child and went far away, to another village. Instead of them to kill the child, as they were instructed, they threw the child into the river at the middle of the night and went home. The next morning, after Amotsi came home with the child, as Amotsi was about leaving the house, Ejuku, his wife, asked him, "What do we call the child?" Amotsi said, "We will call her River, because I found her in the river." Ejuku said, "It is a strange name, but I like it." She carried the child and named her River. After some days, the villagers noticed that Amotsi and Ejuku now has a baby girl. It was a shock to them. People asked where the baby came from. And Amotsi claimed that his wife has been pregnant the whole time, that is why she has been sick for a while, and that the child belongs to them. The villagers celebrated with them, but Amotsi's fishing luck was still the same. One morning, Amotsi's wife told him, there was nothing in the house to feed their daughter River. Amotsi became sad. He immediately took River from his wife, and said to her, "Daddy will make sure you get food to eat, and you will never go hungry under my roof." As he was holding her, River's forehead and her eyes started glowing as the child was laughing. It was so bright that they became scared, but after a while, the bright light died down. Ejuku was surprised. She said, "My husband, this child is not an ordinary child." Amotsi said, "I know, I didn't want to tell you." "So how do we hide this bright light from the villagers?" Ejuku's voice came in a worried manner. "Don't worry, for now, she will stay indoors," Amotsi replied in his assuring voice. As he handed the child over to Ejuku, his wife, there was a knock on his door. As he opened the door, almost all the villagers lined up in front of their house, all carrying gifts. They claimed they were touched by his wife's sudden delivery, that they failed to bring gifts for the child. They brought all kinds of food, money, jewelers for the child and clothes. Amotsi and his wife were surprised. Such a thing has never happened in the village before. So, they had more than enough to eat for the next 6 months. In Uha village, Prince Abe and his wife Abimbo have returned from the hospital. Abimbo could not carry the child. She said she feels detached from her daughter, that she cannot explain it, but she doesn't feel a bond with the child. Her husband, Prince Abe, said to her, "My wife, I know you might be disappointed that she is not the chosen one, but she is still our daughter. A princess of this land, and we need to love her and take care of her." Later that night, as usual, Amotsi went to the river to fish. As he got into the boat, to his amazement, his first try, his net was filled with all kinds of fishes. Amotsi had never seen so much fish in his life in one catch. It was like his luck had returned, and the river is responding to him again. After 3 weeks, the whole village of Ekuna became amazed on how things have turned for Amotsi and his wife Ejoku. First they have a child, and now their fishing business is booming. They had so much fish from each catch that Amotsi had to employ workers to help him sell his fishes, and after 2 months of this newfound luck, Amotsi and his wife became the richest fish farmers in the entire village. While in Uha village, Prince Deji's wife finally delivered and gave birth to a son with a golden mark. 2 weeks after Prince Deji's wife gave birth to their second son, he was crowned king of Uha kingdom. It was his long-awaited desires, and he and his wife celebrated their new positions as king and queen. A week later, after Prince Deji was crowned king, he called a meeting of the entire village to gather at the village square. That evening, as they all gathered to hear their new king speak, King Deji sat on his throne and said, "I know most of you really wished I don't become king, but our oracles never lie. I am the rightful person to be king, because according to our tradition, it is my birthright." Then he said, "From now on, all the villagers will pay tax of 2,000 every month. The money will be for the upkeep and maintenance of the palace, and whatever the king or any of his sons see anywhere and likes, will automatically belong to him. Then finally, anyone seen gossiping against the king or his throne will be banished from this kingdom, and never to return. If that person is seen anywhere around this kingdom after they are banished, he or she will be executed at once." The villagers started grumbling. King Deji said, "These laws go into practice from tomorrow morning." As he was done speaking, the village chief priest, named Ajia, came and stood in their midst and said, "My king, your father did not rule in this manner. Your great-grandfather did not rule the people of Uha village in this manner. The only reason you are crowned king today is because of your son who was born with the golden mark, and the prophecy says that the presence of that child will bring good things into this village and make our land flourish again. As it stands, we, the people of Uha village, are still waiting for that transformation to take place. In the next 6 months, if nothing happens, we will need to revisit and question the gods of our land, and be sure that we have made the right decision. So my king, do not celebrate for long, and impose hard tax on our people, because if the land does not flourish, with the hardship in the land already, what you have just said is nothing but a death sentence on these people of Uha village." King Deji said, "Well, I have given you the child you seek, so if the prophecy fails, it is not on me. And I, King Deji, will not lose my throne for it. But we, the good people of Uha village, will hold you, Priest Ajia, responsible for false prophecies and false hope." Ajia turned and walked out of the meeting, while the villagers murmured and complained about the new tax demand that King Deji has placed on them, as they dispatched one by one, looking sad and worried. In Ekuna village, 1 year has passed quickly, and River has grown into a charming little girl, but she is hardly allowed to step outside the house due to the birthmark on her forehead, even though she wears a cover on her head all the time. Amotsi and his wife Ejoku has become the wealthiest family in the entire village. Their fishing business has blossomed and given birth to other businesses. Due to how great Amotsi had become in the fishing business, other fishermen from his village and other villages, including fishermen from Ekuna village, now buys fish from him and resell in their marketplaces. Everything was going well for Amotsi and his wife Ejoku. They have all that they have ever wished for, and their village has become so prosperous since Amotsi found River and brought her home. The people of Ekuna village attribute their new success to Amotsi and his wife, because their numerous business has brought people from far and wide to invest in Ekuna village. While in Uha village, the level of poverty had doubled, the river has fully dried up and the crops were no longer growing. Things were so bad the people of Uha village were leaving their village, traveling all the way to Ekuna village to buy food and also buy fish from Amotsi. Ajia fought to remove King Deji from the throne when he discovered that King Deji used a spell from another powerful witch doctor to place the mark on his son's hand. But King Deji, who knew that Ajia the village chief priest had found out everything he did, sent his men to kill Ajia in his house one evening. As they got there, Ajia vanished before their eyes and never reappeared in the village ever since. King Deji quickly placed a ban on Ajia the chief priest, claiming that he lied to the people of Uho village, and if he ever shows up in the village, he must be killed. Prince Abe tried to speak to his brother King Deji, to lessen the burden on the villagers, but he refused to listen to him. One evening, Amotsi and his wife Ejoku were in the sitting room with their daughter River. Ejoku was not looking so good. Amotsi asked her, "My wife, what is wrong? Why is your face this way?" Ejoku said, "Our daughter River is over 1 year old now. I really wish I can have another child. We have all that we need, but I still need a child." Amotsi said, "Don't worry. God has blessed us with River and she has brought so much joy and blessings to our home and the entire village." Immediately, River started laughing. She went to Ejoku to carry her. As Ejoku lifted her up, her forehead and eyes started glowing again. Amotsi and his wife has gotten used to the glowing of River's eyes and forehead, and they also know that once it happens, they will receive whatever they needed or asked for. So Ejoku was very happy. She hugged her daughter River tightly, saying, "Thank you, my daughter. Thank you so much." 1 month later, Ejoku became pregnant and she became the talk of the whole village. While in Uha village, Princess Abimbo, who has finally accepted her daughter, called her husband, Prince Abe, one evening and said to him, "We need to leave this village. I heard that Ekuna village is doing very well. I cannot stand the maltreatment of our people from your brother King Deji, and I don't want to create a problem between you and him by getting in his way." Prince Abe sat there for a while, pondering on our wife's words. After a while, he said to his wife, "Let me still talk with him, and see maybe he will listen, but if he doesn't, we will move." 7 months later, River, who is almost 2 years now, was always indoors, and anytime her father and mother leaves the house, she will cry for a long time. So one morning, as Amotsi has gone fishing, Ejoku, who was 7 months pregnant, wanted to go to the market, decided to take River with her. As they got to the market, River was astonished to see so much people. She was happy to be around them, looking around in excitement. As River and Ejoku were exchanging greetings with another woman who sold in the market, River started laughing and very excited. Immediately her head and eyes started glowing. The whole people in the market saw her before Ejoku could manage to hide River's face and take her home. That evening, the news was all over the place that Amotsi's daughter is the goddess of goodwill, and that is the reason they have been having so much goodwill come their way. That evening, many villagers came to Amotsi's house to see the child and ask for favor. Amotsi, who came home surprised, blamed Ejoku for taking the child out and into the market. As he managed to send the villagers away, and was thinking what to do for the child's safety. There was a knock on the door. He opened the door to find Prince Abe and his wife standing there, and they begged him to let them in. They told him they have been living secretly in a Kuna village for over 2 months, and today, they had a news that was spreading all over the village, and they begged to see the child. Amotsi, who didn't know what to do, after a long conversation with his wife Ejoku in their bedroom, decided to bring out River to meet with Prince Abe and his wife Princess Abimbo. As they held River up, she smiled, her forehead and eyes started glowing. As they were leaving, Abimbo told Amotsi and his wife, "Please, keep the child safe," and they promised to do so. Later that night, Abimbo was in her room crying. Her husband Prince Abe came to her bedside and asked her what it was. She said, "This village is flourishing since that child came into this community. Does that not look like the prophecy we received from Ajia the chief priest? And as I held the child, I have a strong feeling that River is our daughter, but I don't have a proof, but I felt the connection with her." As Prince Abe was trying to console his wife, there was a knock at their door. It was late at night, and they don't have anyone ever visit them in the village. Prince Abe went to the door and shouted, "Who is there?" A lady's voice came from the other side. "It is me, Omaya." Prince Abe opened the door to find Omaya, the midwife who delivered their daughter, standing there. 1 hour later, Omaya the midwife had narrated the whole story of how she and Dr. Kolu took Prince Abe's daughter, who was born with the birthmark, and handed her to a hitman, under King Deji's instruction. She said she only came forward now because King Deji has killed the doctor and the hitman to cover up the whole thing. Princess Abimbo said she was right, that River is her daughter. Prince Abe was shocked. He didn't believe his own brother will ask his child to be killed, so that he can be king. He asked Amaya, "So whose baby have we been taking care of?" Amaya said, she doesn't know, that Dr. Kolu came with the baby to the hospital. 1 week later, Amotsi and Prince Abe made peace and River was returned to her biological parents. Ejoku wept for days after River was taken. She fell into labor and had a set of twins, a boy and a girl. While Prince Abe traveled back to their village to confront his brother King Deji, as he got to the village, he called a meeting and asked the whole villagers to gather at the village square. As they gathered, King Deji arrived very late, to ask why they would call a meeting without his consent. As he sat on the throne, Prince Abe narrated his stories, showing them his real daughter and telling the whole villagers what his elder brother King Deji did to them and the family, just to become king. King Deji got angry and said, "There is no proof that he was involved in what he is accused of." Immediately Ajia appeared in the midst of the crowd and said, "It is all true, that King Deji used a spell to cast a golden mark on his son, that Prince Abe is the real king because his daughter carries the real golden mark, and his daughter has made the village of Ekuna rich, since she has been there." King Deji commanded his men to seize Prince Abe's daughter and Ajia, for showing up after being banned from the village. Immediately Prince Abe's daughter, River, started crying. Her eyes and forehead started glowing. The whole villagers were surprised to see what was going on. As she cried, tall white spirits appeared and started flogging the royal guards and the king. King Deji ran for his life, including his royal guards. 2 weeks later, Prince Abe was crowned king. Amotsi and his wife Ejoku were present to celebrate with them. From then the village of Uho started growing and the river that has dried up started flowing again. Things returned to normal and the village of Uho started flourishing. Amotsi and his wife returned home and their wealth kept on coming as they raised their children. The once barren fisherman and barren wife now has all they ever wanted and more. Story ends. Moral of the story. In life, What belongs to you will always come to you, if you continue to remain true to yourself and stay focused. I remain Uncle Sam. Stay safe.